I'd like to bring onto stage the person one of them who is the co-founder of Women in Cloud, and she always is looking for the opportunity. So when I met her, she had me draw a picture of the vision of the future for this, and it has come to be like, I don't know, it's beyond 10x, it's like 100x. So Chaitra Vidulapalli, she's a passionate steward of economic development and firmly believes that successful organization focus on both the shareholder and the stakeholder. She's the CMO of Mela, and she has done so many things to express and extend economic access for all. Not only is she a writer and writes about the digital cloud and cloud technology and inclusion, she's been a speaker at the UN, at TEDx, at Grasshopper Celebration, Microsoft Inspire, and she's got so many awards now that I can't keep track of them, but she was recently just noted as the top 50 thought leaders in cloud technology, and she's Forbes 1000, next 1000. So would you please give it up for Chaitra Vidulapalli? Woo! Chai! Hello.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you.
I want to know what your word of intention is for the year.
My word of the intent, the word is deep. And I picked deep as the word is because we want to focus on deeper relationships with each one of us. And that's where the growth happens. Because last year I used explore and I was like a curious George everywhere. So I wanted to be more.
That's good. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Patty. Really appreciate it. What an amazing welcome. And again, thank you to all of you for showing up. So first, to get all of us engaged, I want to open up with a question. A simple question, but for many of us have a very complex answer. So I want you to ask yourself, what has changed for me? First, I want you to take a deep breath. So for me, everything has changed. So let's face it, it has been a very up and down roller coaster of a ride, especially this year. This year, my mom had a health crisis, and that threw me off the game. And I was helpless and really struggled emotionally because I couldn't really help the way I wanted to help her. My son left to study abroad, and it made me realize the voidness I need to conquer. My entire family, the team, and I all got COVID right before the summit. This again required me to change the perspective, really had to pivot and experiment with balancing the workload. The same is happening for all of you every day. All I can say, it is not easy. It is very painful, and we need to acknowledge and accept our situation. So I watched numerous TED Talks, the spiritual talks, read lots of books. I probably practice all kinds of meditation techniques, but I've not found the right one yet. But connected with lots of people around me and in the community. What it all taught me is to increase my tolerance capacity, become fearless, patiently listen, and be present every day. So did it work? I believe so. My faith in people was what got me through it. So we all have stories and experiences and events that have forced us to rethink life. And I invite you to also acknowledge and accept it. All of it, everything. Take a moment to honor yourself for showing up every day to face the unknown, the uncertainty, and the unexplainable. Because you are doing the heroic stuff, showing up to you and your ecosystem. Because when we honor ourselves for making through the toughest of the time, it shows an unstoppable leadership ethic that not everyone possesses. Even today, you showed up. It showed commitment to your own well-being and that of others, and everyone here in the community that strives to be better each and every day, regardless of all the challenges we meet. So it shows the leadership adaptability to be courageous and accelerate even more when we feel that everything is working against us. maybe it's actually working for us. And that is what I call the power of collective influence. So let me ask you the question again. What has changed for you? Share your thoughts in the chat. Go ahead. What has changed for you? Yep, I'm going to kinder to myself. Absolutely, that's a right thing. Take your time. Share what has changed for you. Everything too, right? Patience, courage, consistency, articulation, perspectives regarding the retirement, making sure I can carve out time for myself. What I see that we all have changed our perspectives, our mindset, our intention, and our goals. We know the change is inevitable, but how we respond to the change is most important. This is our year to hold each other up to high to see the new perspective. With that, I want to welcome you to the VIC Summit. I'm honored to officially launch the annual summit. So it's no secret that our world has gone through an incredible transformation, even more accelerated by the global pandemic. COVID, climate change, economic recession, social justice reform, and gender inclusivity, among other challenges that we are faced on a daily basis. However, in a time that many felt the pressure of holding back or pause with uncertainty, we made it a goal to continue to accelerate because that's exactly what our community strives for. So at Women in Cloud, we are a community-led economic development organization dedicated to generating $1 billion in net new global economic access for women entrepreneurs and professionals in the enterprise ecosystem by 2030 through the partnership with global fortune brands, community leaders, and policymakers, all of which are united by the UN Sustainable Goals and are driven by job creation, technology innovation, and sustainable economic access for women. So the question is, are we ready to make 2022 an incredible year? As author James Clear says, you get what you repeat. So it all starts with setting an intention. So at Women in Cloud, we got a chance to do a deep dive review of the past year, set collective intention, and here are the best bits for us to celebrate together and lift each other up. So my personal gratitude and thank you to all of you to step into your power and help us grow incredible influence and impact throughout the tech industry. Over the last 3 years, 70 women tech founders graduated from the Women in Cloud Accelerator with a $30 million in total valuation. Yesterday, we were also informed by Microsoft that 5 of our top portfolio companies joined the winner circle of Microsoft Build for 2030 hackathon. So congratulations to all of you. Well done. We also saw companies getting acquired, raising double-digit venture investment and winning Fortune brands as their customers, and the results has been spectacular. So every year we celebrate Women in Cloud Day. Women in Cloud proclamation was led by Senator Patty Krueger, and we passed the 3rd year in the Washington state, which acknowledges and validates the need for women to be represented for a sustainable future of the tech industry. Over 1,200 leaders stepped up last year to inspire and influence the tech ecosystem through our signature events and contributed to over 2,500 warm business introductions, which led to new opportunities, new job access. More importantly, we all created new friends. This is game-changing when human connections are needed the most. We also spent time building an influential board. Amy Protexter, our Senior Vice President at Insight, and Gina Fratarcangeli, Managing Director at Accenture, joined as Board of Directors. For Board of Advisors, we have Lisa Goodman. She's the industry influencer in the government sector, and Gina Jorgensen from Google will be joining our community. All I can say that you're all in amazing hands. And lastly, we focused on creating a diverse talent pipeline by distributing 1,500 Azure certification scholarships in partnership with Microsoft and Coursera. And these are just bits of impact we were able to deliver in last 365 days. So you can download the collective impact report and then learn ways to get involved. So in the words of Oscar Wilde, to live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist. This year, we will focus all our energy and attention on creating and delivering collective influence through leadership and business transformation programming that will establish us as the most vibrant and influential community in the world. The goal is to stand out, be seen, change lives. That is truly living. So while you cannot predict what the future holds, you can do one thing today to make 2022 a better year. Invest in yourself and in your career, in your business, by fully immersing yourself to become a better version of you. We all have an amazing year ahead of us. Together, each and every one of us have the ability to collectively influence our industry, and Women in Cloud is pledging our commitment to help you, your company, and your community to change lives in 2022. So again, thank you for being part of an amazing time in the history as we continue to honor the leadership accolades of our women tech leaders, founders, and allies who are transforming the world around us, one impactful contribution at a time. So to get our summit started, I would like to invite Gina Fratarcangeli to join me for a fireside chat on influencing inclusive technology innovation with cloud and AI. Gina Fratarcangeli is a board of director and also managing director with Accenture, the world's largest consulting firm. In her current role, she manages a team designing complex solutions to solve complex business challenges for her Fortune 1000 clients. Having worked at other global powerhouses like IBM and EDS and managed a global team, she has evaluated and tested multiple leadership styles and created her own unique approach to fostering the next generation of leaders. She's passionate about mentoring next generation leaders and recently did a TED Talk on leadership. She attended the University of Michigan and received a degree in international relationships. She has lived all over the world, including Tokyo, Belgium, and Costa Rica. She resides in Denver with her husband and teenage boys. She was recently named one of the top 25 most powerful women in business in Colorado and also elected into an exclusive International Women's Forum. She's a sought-out speaker on the topic of mentorship, female empowerment, and cloud. She spends her free time on the sideline at sporting events, skiing, surfing, obsessing about the power of analytics, and trying to keep up with her teenage boys. So Gina, welcome. I am so excited to kick off the summit with you. Let's give a big welcome for Gina. Mic on, camera on.
Me?
Yes, I can, Gina. Welcome.
I could see you guys and I thought I was present. So thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you. So Gina, we all love to predict. So I think we should do some prediction game. So how about we start with the prediction for 2022? What are you predicting will happen in 2022? I'm curious.
Yeah, who could even predict after the last year and the madness of last year, right? But I'll give you a few ideas as it relates to our business universe. I would say kind of a few things come to mind. First one is cloud, obviously, and the wave of cloud migrations and transformations will continue. And I think it's going to continue to increase and exponentially. And I think this is going to be driven by scale created by the increase in market acceptance and understanding of the potential of cloud and cloud functionality. And I think we're going to see a big pivot from early adopters to fast followers and the scale that change brings to the mix. So, what does this mean in practice? I think companies will look to pivot from thinking as cloud as a migration destination to more of an innovation engine, and how that's going to impact their business. Kartik Naran, one of our tech leaders at Accenture, really had some positive thoughts on this. And we agree that corporate leaders are seeing the case studies pile up, how cloud is transforming the business all around them. And they want the benefits and the impact of that too. So I think the number of companies accelerating their cloud journey will continue to increase dramatically. I think secondly, we're going to see an increased focus on sustainability and accountability for your environmental impact. With the increasing pressure from government and consumers, companies recognize that a tangible, measurable program for how they will drive sustainability within their operations is truly a requirement in 2022. And we're seeing an incredible increase in demand among our clients to really help them think about a strategy as well as a development of the solution for that. So the computing power really required to power all of the data, and the data access is so intense. And companies recognize that they have a responsibility to demonstrate that they take ownership for their environmental impact and are willing to do something about it. So I think look for continued and increased investment in sustainability. And third, data. It's going to be all about the data and how do you access the data more efficiently? How do you store data more effectively? How do you leverage the data to transform your relationships with your customers? And how do you run your business more optimally? We are just at the beginning, I think, of the journey and figuring out how to best leverage that data and the benefits of the data to you, your company as you operate, and your clients. I think with the spread of edge computing and its increasing utilization in the B2C space, people will continue to understand just how powerful that data can be. And really, data is the new currency. I was reading Accenture on one of our blogs that we post within Accenture, the top 25 trends. And what really caught my attention was that at the end of 2020, the virtual weight of information in the world was 44 zettabytes. I don't know if you've ever heard that word before, but that is a trillion gigabytes. That is a figure with 21 zeros behind it. And so that requires an insane amount of storage capacity. So not surprisingly, around 50% of all corporations' data is stored in the cloud. So cloud will continue to play a critical role in data storage and optimization. And we're going to need to keep figuring out ways to innovate and automate to really get the benefits of that.
I would say, wow, right? So from when you look at from how the prediction you're making, I think data is the new currency. And trillion gigabytes, I think a figure featuring like 21 zeros, I've never seen anything like that, Gina. So it's incredible what the cloud innovation is going to look like. So this means we need to build a lot of inclusive tech innovation. Now that we have so much data, we can build amazing innovation. So my question to you is, what does inclusive technology innovation look like? Is there any examples you can share? And how do we need to approach this automation so we don't lose access to opportunities?
Right. No, it's a great question. And I think as we think about the inclusiveness of the processing going forward, we really need to be more aware of building solutions that are inclusive and have high accessibility for everyone to be able to use. And that best happens when we have a diverse group of people coding, and coders who are aware of the fact that the reality is they have unconscious biases, and those biases come out even when they're coding. And so we really need more women coders for sure. And we need, along with increased awareness for all coders, to recognize how biases can impact their coding. And when they are creating automation, how do they ensure that their output will be inclusive? And I think this is really going to be a big challenge for the community as we go forward, right? Like thinking back to, I'm sure most people heard the story, and it just came back up on NPR the other day that Amazon had a recruiting automation tool, and they had a dream of automating the recruiting process. So they started these AI projects in 2014, and their project was solely based on reviewing job applicants and their resumes, and then rating the applications using AI-powered algorithms, so that recruiters didn't have to spend time manually screening. In 2015, though, they realized that the new system was not rating candidates fairly, and it showed a bias against women. Amazon had used historical data from the last 10 years to train their AI model. Well, the problem with that is that 60% of the people who worked at Amazon and in their coding were men. So as the AI was getting smarter, their system actually incorrectly learned that male candidates were more preferable. And so it penalized the resumes that included words like women or, women chess club captain, things like that. So Amazon learned this and they stopped using the algorithm. But it took thoughtfulness to uncover it, and took people on the team willing to look into why is this happening. And, we also saw things like at Facebook, the bias within the Facebook advertising. There are numerous examples of human biases, and when we see that happening in tech platforms, and since data on tech platforms is later then used to train the machine learning models, these biases lead to biased machine learning models. In 2019, Facebook was allowing its advertisers to intentionally target according to gender, race, and religion. And so, for instance, women were prioritized in adverts for nursing and secretarial work, and things like janitors or taxi drivers had been mostly shown to men. So Facebook realized this and changed their approach, and made the result, they stopped allowing the targeting based on age, gender, or race to try and drive a more inclusive environment. So I think it really all comes back to people creating the algorithms and ensuring that they are considering the impact of their unconscious biases.
Gina, first is, wow, the stories of what you shared really talks about exclusion, right? And it's mainly because of human biases are infused without governance. So there needs to be governance, there needs to be education, and also new practices for building the right coding or development in place.
Right.
If we don't take care of it, right, it can be dangerous to humanity. And what I hear is there's a lot of work for all of us to do.
Yeah.
So if we need to influence as a collective to bring more inclusion in the market, how should we go about doing that?
Yeah, no, great question, Chaitra. And I think just the power of your opening statements and the sentiment you're setting out the 1,000 people who are joining this event to recognize and just be part of the solution, right? And work together to be that. I would say it all really starts at the personal level. And as I think about what I can do, I recognize that we are all accountable, and we need to hold each other accountable. I participate and do a lot of very specific and intentional activities, mentorship being a big part of it. And at every rung of my career ladder, and I encourage everyone else at every rung of their career ladder, they look for the opportunities to look up a rung, look down a rung, and then also look to the sides at the parallel ladders that other people may be on, and figure out ways how to be helping each other and influencing the ecosystem that we all live in to help support each other. There's the informal and formal networks that we need to be creating. And I like to tell everyone, right, no one is coming. There's no one coming to save us. It's all the responsibility of each one of us to be that solution and to be the drivers of that change. And want to take the opportunity, Chaitra, to just thank you again for being such a catalyst in the marketplace for that change, and creating an environment where people are allowed to show up and be part of that change, and facilitating something that allows people to easily participate and help in that change.
And Gina, Thank you. I appreciate the compliment and I'll take it. But when I think about it, you talked about personal accountability, and I think that is what drove me to do what I do every day. And that means is the access is what we were losing through the work that we are doing in tech. And we had to step in. I had to take my own accountability and do the things that I need to do. But as you talked about, I heard something which is more around your leadership style. So I
Mhm.
want to talk about your leadership because I'm just fascinated by how you lead people around you and in your community. So when we met last year, we talked about establishing the first partnership with Women in Cloud with Accenture. Within seconds, you said, yes, this is important. So I want to talk about that. And now when I look at like 365 days in, you have over 9 in your ERG group, which is Women in Cloud ERG group within Accenture. That's brilliant and amazing. So can you share with us what you had to work on yourself to make that transformation happen within Accenture to build a network, build a movement, and drive impact? I would love our audience to know how to embark in this journey of personal accountability because you make it so easy.
It's not easy, as my team who participates on it knows. It takes so much work, right? I think that's the most important thing to realize. It takes so much work, but you can absolutely make it fun. And so, as you mentioned, Chaitra came to the first Women in Cloud event, or not second, I think a couple of years back. It was just blown away by that community. And I really saw within Accenture 600,000 people, so much attention and effort on cloud, and how I wanted to take personal responsibility for how can I help ensure that as cloud grows, and saw the writing on the wall that it was going to be a huge part of Accenture's future. How could I make sure that women were right at the pinnacle of that, and women were given as many opportunities for leadership positions and exposure as possible? So we have ERGs within Accenture, and we got a group of us together as I was presenting at the Women's ERG. And one of the folks reached out and said, we should do a Women in Cloud at Accenture. And we said, that's a great idea. So I'll get tactical for a second. So how, if people are listening and thinking, how do we go create something like this within our own company? I'll give you a little bit of tips on the playbook that we ran. And we had that conversation. I said, that's a great idea. Let's open it up and see who would like to attend. We had an introductory discussion, and some amazing woman, Patty Burrows, who's also now on the board of advisors here at Women in Cloud, showed up and said, I want to help. And we got a crew together, and we really got that crew together and said, what do each one of you want this organization to be? And we had a 3-prong approach of community engagement, internal opportunities, and then speaking and education of what's going on in cloud. And so in the last year, as Chaitra said, we've grown it to 900 people, but a big part of that was giving speaking opportunities for the Accenture employees, as well as the CX level female clients that we have, and creating a platform where they'd have the opportunity to get more exposure, increase their public brand. So we've had over 55 women within Accenture doing the presentations. We also have done a ton of education and certification around cloud. Yes, that was happening elsewhere in Accenture too, but giving more women outside of just our technology group the opportunity to dip their toes in the water and start understanding cloud and how they could engage. And then the third pillar was the community aspect of it. Accenture has a whole group called Accenture Ventures, where we invest in startups and help startups grow. And that team has done just a phenomenal job of working with the Women in Cloud startup organizations and getting more people within Accenture to volunteer to help and support and provide services to those startups and help them understand how big companies think, how our clients think. So, and none of that could be possible without critical leaders within Accenture who make up our internal Women in Cloud board of advisors. supporting us, funding us, people like Pat Sullivan, who leads our North America cloud efforts, really stepping up and saying, I want to be a part of this, and making the investment to do that. So get the people together, create an advisory board, get exec sponsors, and make it fun. So that's it in a nutshell.
And Gina, you shared the secret sauce for any Fortune brands to really establish, I would say, network of movement and impact working collectively. So that one was fabulous. I learned so much today. I'm so excited. So my question to the audience is, what were your takeaways and one action you will take to drive some change within you and around you? So take a moment and put it in the chat. Again, Gina, thank you so much for inspiring me. The partnership that you have with me and the entire ecosystem means a lot, because it is really valuable and it is felt, the value is felt. So what I learned is we have a lot of work to do. We have to work together to collectively influence to make the tech industry more inclusive. Again, thank you for kicking off the 2022 summit. It has been a pleasure to be with you and really kick off the summit. And thank you, Gina.
Thank you, Chaitra. And everyone, please enjoy the summit. Take every opportunity to network. It's an amazing couple of days here. Thank you for all you do, Chaitra and team. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Patty, passing the baton to you.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. I just have so many notes about it. And so we'll just know that these notes will be available for you. I'll post it. And so you'll get a chance to see it.